Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for week 4 of Survivor 48. My name is Mike Bloom. Got my jeans pegged, got my pager, and this house party isn't shutting down anytime soon as we are here to talk about quite the swap episode. But of course, I would never swap out this co host for anybody in the world. It's Liana Boraas. Liana, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm going to look at you with my real people eyes today, Mike, instead of my game eyes, so we can, really connect and really bond.
That's a first.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's that or running through the forest. So I felt like I should probably stay put. So we'll do game eyes. Not
And those are
today.
and those are jungle eyes. That's a very different setup. I want to just
Ooh.
switch them out like Mr. Potato Head, angry eyes.
Yeah, I think that's how that works. I'm
Well,
I'm just a
I
scientist.
I am so excited to have this person back, a luminary of the new era, and I would say, here to bring us all the info on her perspective on swaps. But the fact of the matter is, Maryanne Oketch, you don't even know her.
What's a swap? I've never heard this word before. You're telling me that you can go to a different beach before the merch?
I don't know her. What's a
No, who is
swap?
she? Who is she?
I mean, what she is messy as this season continues to prove. We get Vula going to tribal council, but somehow this Vula tribe does not consist of any of the members of the previous Vula tribe. And so it's like second verse, same as the first, as we adequately send away a music executive in the form of Thomas. Devastation on behalf of the Survivor Internet, but we are here to break it all down. Maryanne, we're, a little bit under a third of the way through Survivor 48. And I know we just made a big pivot, big change, big vote of the season, but what have been your thoughts on it so far?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I have loved the season as a whole. The one thing I didn't love, which I'm happy why they swapped, is I just don't like it when the same tribe goes over and over and over again to tribal.
Mm.
Just because it's like, of course, by the matter of fact, by them going to tribal multiple times, we get to learn about them more. And we're not learning more about other people's tribals. And then also, it makes the other people stir crazy. And it's just not as fun when you just see someone lose and lose and lose. Like if it was lose, lose, win, fine. Win, lose, lose, fine. But just 3 in a row just feels really sad for the players. It's just devastating for everyone. And it turns out it wasn't even the tribe's fault. It's the beach's fault.
It's cursed. That's what Thomas said.
Yeah.
I know. It's a cursed
M. Night Shyamalan did The Beach That Makes You Old. This is the beach that makes you lose.
I know. It's
Yeah.
You know what? It's because the beach is green. And that's why it's cursed, okay? Because that's where Vati has the same
really?
one. Yeah.
That's
so
interesting.
so I was looking, I'm like, oh, so you put a green tribe on that beach, you're done. You like can't you're just cooked.
And that was also the beach where Yanu was in 46.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting. Yeah, this might be, I mean, it is with no offense to the other two beaches.
It is the best beach.
It's by far the most picturesque. This is the one that has like the giant rock formation out on the inlet. And so I guess you're sort of trading in the scenic elements for the fact that you are going to be conspiring every other day to go to tribal council because it's inevitable.
Yeah. I guess it's great as a merch beach, but not good as a pre-merch. You go there at pre-merch, you better start packing your bags, looking for an idol, saying a phrase, doing a little code, thanking your mothers for your mother and everyone who came before you to do it, and not thanking Cedric.
I like the idea that the ghost from Ghost Island is somehow also out there, like cursing the island. It's a whole thing.
Because he's like, listen, you're all going to the same camps. It's very easy for me to just hunker down in one because I know people will stop here every few months or so, and I can just haunt them for a brief portion of time, cause them to go miserable. I mean, the problem that I'm having this season is that they all keep running around. They leave notes for each other. Who leaves notes for each other?
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Like, imagine like coming back and you see a note, we're going idol hunting, Mary. And then you're like, oh, like I guess Mary's like, okay, guess I'm going idol hunting too.
Sounds good. Yeah. Did you ever consider that as an option or even think of that about like writing notes in the sand, either with sticks or just like generally some carvings, I guess, at the camp?
It was never an issue. And I think that becomes more of a bigger issue when you get down to 3 and then someone's like busy doing something,
Right.
Then it's like, if they're busy doing something, you're like, I want to do this. It's like, okay, how are they going to know and find out? Because if they come back and everyone's gone, oh my goodness, did everyone get medevaced except for me? Did I win? You don't know. So I think that because we were four, like if we were collectively doing something as a group, we would all know. We would all know, and so we'd all know what's up. But we didn't really do anything collectively as a group.
I mean, that's why you always leave a note, though, so that Mary doesn't come back. Though, again, when you're probably doing the thing that she would assume that you were doing, it kind of defeats the purpose of it. It probably would have been better if you were trying to create an alibi, right? Like, Mary papaya run, something like that. Like, and maybe that is just say in a nutshell, right? Is that she speaks her mind. She talks about trying to be as transparent as possible. And that also concludes, I mean, to your point, Maryanne, I'm very excited that we move into this next phase. Not to say that like Vula is increasingly becoming a very complex group, but I'm very happy that we kiss off the first phase of this game with also Maryanne being like, yeah, you know what, I respect you. I think we're gonna do better as friends than enemies. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Now we're going to have like 2 rounds for that idea to lie dormant, only for Murgatory to maybe blow things up. But Liana, I can only think of like a handful of times in Survivor history where this has pseudo enemies to lovers trope has occurred in Survivor.
Well, I think it's funny because now they're on a break, like they have some opportunity to really reflect and grow themselves as individuals. And then who knows, maybe come back together and their love will be stronger than ever.
We'll see. I hope not.
No.
Well, just because like I want things to work out between them. At the same time,
clearly not.
Their rivalry is just so much fun, though. And I listen. It might just be an inevitability. It might be the wind blowing one way, and especially maybe once Say sees a bunch of other options at the merge, she's like, "Oh yeah, I only joined up with Mary because she was 50% of the other people I could join up with." Right? Like it was a real coin flip as to who I wanted to move forward with. But now she has a bunch of new options, and that's what's really fun as well about this swap is that this is now our second full tribe swap after 45, and I don't think it's a coincidence that in both times, we really saw a situation where, like, one tribe kept losing, but it didn't continue to be like, we'll just easily pick them off. Yes, Sean quit in 45, but that was obviously extenuating circumstances. D did not want to get Sean out at that point. And I think it goes to show, to your point, Maryanne, that, like, it's been only a week in the game, but there are so many of these feelings towards each other that are brewing that, like, the second there are new faces in front of you, I think a lot of these people are seeing new opportunities and at the same time, the ability to eschew old opportunities and be like, oh, you think they're fun? They're not fun at all. No, don't work with them. Don't let them fool you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, these people have spent a week of just being on a beach. And that week of being on a beach, like that's what it feels like, and you genuinely do get antsy because Taka went to tribal first, like we went to tribal once, never again. And at the end, I was like, oh, let's blindside Jonathan. Let's go. When we get to merge, let's just take him out, which doesn't make any sense if you think of it in the bigger picture, especially if people are going to be loyal, but you just want to play. And because the small pool that you can think of for those 7 days are the only 6 people, when you come to a swap, unless you're like have a strong alliance with that person, your mind's going to be laser focused on, oh, I wanted to get this person out at tribal. We're going to get this person out at tribal. Just think of Eva and Star. They weren't thinking, oh, we can work together. They were thinking, we hate each other. Let's throw each other under a bus for the next tribal. I want to work with y'all. It's like my allies are on another beach. Like I care about them. I don't care about my other tribe mate. Let's just go. Who cares if we have the numbers? Who cares if we can pull Maryanne? I don't.
Well, that was the thing with Eva just being like, immediately as soon as they're on the beach, like they're not even going to tribal. It was just like, hey, I want to tell you guys, and gathers everybody else and sits around and essentially is like, yeah, I don't trust Star. This is the whole shebang. Star found the idol. Star doesn't have her vote. Like, wow, it was genuinely just watching her spit every single thing out. I think it speaks to what you're saying in terms of the antsiness of just like, blah, 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 just like that word vomit of trying to get every single thought out about Star.
Yeah, because I think that at the same time, you're living in this kind of liminal space where you are looking ahead to, again, this new group of people. And you're like, great, these are all these relationships you can make. But it's not like you're starting from day one. This is day one from a new tribe, but you have built up opinions about the people that you have swapped over with in particular. So not just Eva and Star, you see it with David and Charity as well on the other side, which is very fun to have Eva in the middle. You have it with Cedric and Say, which was an incredible sequence where Cedric has this beautiful connection series of scenes with Mitch being like, you know what? I've got Say. I think we're going to be all right because Say is nothing if not loyal. Cut to Say, pulling her best Abby Maria. Cedric blindsided me twice. So, like, again, I think what's great about this is that it's almost like the second leg of a vacation where you are in a new destination, you know, new country, maybe new climate, maybe the new people around you, but you still have quite literally the baggage of the previous leg of the trip. All that smelly clothes, all these souvenirs weighing your bag down. And that's going to inform a bit of what you carry forward into this new destination.
And I mean, I'm sure that, right. I mean, obviously that's true. Like those relationships are going to carry forward. I think it's very interesting to see so much being spoken so quickly, like immediately, right? Because you get, as soon as Bianca comes up and is like, hey, Say, I'd love to work with you and Cedric. Say's like, maybe get a vibe check on that man. And then like a day later is like, yeah, he blindsided me twice, but make your opinion.
Do we assume that that's the first conversation these two had, was Bianca being like, I want to work with you, and Say's like, hold up. Who's you?
There's no we, man. Who is this we?
Yeah, it's just, it really is the refreshingness of Say, where she says what she wants to say, you know? You learn in Survivor, just say yes to everything and you can deal with it after. This alliance is handed on a silver plate. I want to work with you. Let's work together. And you're like, you know what? How about we put it to the side, we figure it out. I like it. And I think, and it makes me wonder, I'm like, if that was said to me, would I be like, okay, if she comes back after and says yes, will I be into it? Or then if she came back and said yes, would I be completely off? But I think the difference for Bianca is that she knows. I think that even if Say comes back and says, you know what, let's work with Cedric, let's make this happen. Bianca kind of is a sitting duck here. She knows she's in a part of an alliance that has the numbers. These two tribes are going to fight for each other. So I think that asking Say, hey, I want to work with you, she doesn't have an option. Like, even if Say said no, then 3 days later said yes, Bianca has to take it. And she doesn't have a vote.
Right. I think that this is a universe where it's interesting because, Bianca, especially initially when she mixes with the two pairs, essentially assumes, oh, I'm in the middle. My vote really matters.
She literally says that on the mat.
On the mat. Oh my God.
Like, are they starting to drink what Andy was drinking in the first 3 days of Survivor 47, where it's like, yeah, I'm in a public setting, but I'll just speak my quiet parts out loud.
Oh my God. Say doing the exact same thing. Oh.
Yeah, Say being like, I hope they eat each other alive.
It's funny because it's like everyone's like, yeah, that's true, but you didn't have to say that. Like, you didn't have to say that.
Right. It's just like revealing, like flipping your cards around and essentially just being like, hey, I've got pocket aces.
That's it's like all right, we're gonna shuffle up the cards. You're like, God, full house.
But the interesting thing about Bianca being in that situation is, so even as she says that her vote is really valuable, you have two pairs that aren't pairing. You know what I mean? Like you literally have them willing to turn. I mean, maybe Cedric's not turning on Say, but clearly you have Say wanting to turn on Cedric. You have David wanting to turn on Charity. So I actually think that that's an okay position for Bianca to be in, because essentially no matter what side they sort of pick to go with, if they're going to turn on that person, it seems like either Cedric or Charity could be the one to go, and Bianca maybe wouldn't be too stuck in the middle there.
Just to clarify, David and Charity are not on that tribe. It's Chrissy and Mitch are the other pair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then I take all that back.
But you can basically take out Bianca's position and put in Mary.
Goes. Yeah. Okay, but if Cedric, okay, yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's why there's so much symmetry going on. So that what I just said applies to Mary in her situation, but for Bianca not having her vote, I think if they end up going with Cedric, then it's going to be fine. Because obviously the worst case scenario is it's like 2-2. And then it's a tie. And then it's just like, wait, who didn't vote? Bianca didn't vote. Now what happens? So that would be ultimately like super chaotic. But if they can get it on like Cedric, for example, then Bianca not having a vote wouldn't matter.
And like, God, I'm already imagining and salivating at Say's ire upon finding out that Bianca didn't have a vote. Because Bianca's not saying anything, right? Because she figures, the second I do, I'm a sitting duck, to your point, Maryanne. And so the second it's only 4 votes, Say's going to be like, God damn it, they did it again.
The
Mhm.
trauma.
Why didn't you tell me? I was forthright with everything. I thought when you stood on the mat and said that you were in the middle, that you were my girl in openness, and y'all don't reveal this to me. You're just like your buddy Thomas, who didn't talk about an advantage to anybody else in the game.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Thomas. Thomas. How do you feel about him not using his steal a vote in that moment? How do you feel? Let's talk about that.
I think it's tough because I think it's almost like the difference between playing the short game and playing the long game, right? And I think
Mhm.
Thomas was in this to play the long game where you don't want to reveal so one, you don't want to disrupt loyalty with the California girls. So you
Mhm.
can't reveal it. And then also it's like, well, I might want to use it later on, but there might not be a later on. And that's what we see ultimately play out for Thomas. But I mean, Kyle and Camilla came with an arsenal of weapons, right? Like, how are you supposed to know that they had both a split a vote and
Mhm.
then, of course, the idol, which ultimately ends up being the main reason why Thomas goes home? But they were prepared even in case of the like if they had played the idol wrong, right? If they had put the 3 votes
Yep.
on Camilla,
Mhm.
then it still would have been a 3-3 tie. And Kyle's the one who has the idol and has the extra vote. So he's the one who will carry through those 2 votes, which was very smart strategy from their perspective.
Mhm.
And that's what it comes down to is like, again, this Thomas did not necessarily know this, but the second he happened to wind up on the beach with a pair that had an idol and an extra vote, it was pretty much doomed because they were going to
Mm.
have the 3 votes no matter what. The exception would have been if he had the vote steal, told the California girls about it, and they agreed to split it 2-2. But to
Mhm.
that point, it was just a matter of, and he expressed this to me as well as other people in his interviews about how he felt like it would have just permanently splintered him from the California girls. It's this idea of like, well, I've been lying for this long. I just need to keep denying, despite Camilla coming forward with so
Yeah.
much evidence, despite Star. I don't know if she meant to throw him under the bus, but she did at the sit out bench. So, like, Thomas just continues to sell this act because he feels like as each minute ticks on, that's going to get him even more in trouble. And unfortunately, I mean, if he does become forthright with the 2 of them, I don't know if they decide like, okay, let's use it now and split our votes and try to figure out what happens. But it really just was this wild confluence of things that ends up kicking
Mhm.
out. Really, unfortunately, I mean, any of these losses would have truly been unfortunate. I was stunned that this tribe, that the Vula ghost continued to haunt this beach, considering
Mhm.
that, like, not
I
only from
know.
a not only from a strength perspective, but like, listen, not to get too much of the Edgic brigade of it all, but like, I feel like these 5 have all been fairly visible and fairly developed in the first 3 episodes, where I would have pegged all 5 of them to at least have made the merge, if not go further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you get that person who's a little bit more visible who ends up going out in the pre-merge. And so it's unfortunate that it was Thomas here. Cause I don't know about you, Maryanne, but I really, really enjoyed Thomas on my television screen. And I'm so sad that he got voted out.
I am so sad. I'm at the part where I love Camilla and Kyle, and I'm like, yeah,
Mhm. I
here.
know.
But then a part of me is like, no, it's Thomas who's the one who was sacrificed. No, Thomas, no. I'm like, why couldn't we just go and vote out Jeff in that situation? That's when I was sitting down. I'm like, why couldn't it be you, Jeff? You just walk down in the torch. Like, it truly was sad. Like that, if there was one team where I'm like, I don't want them to go to tribal because I just want to see the dynamics, I think that would have been the tribe for me.
Okay, wait.
Oh,
I have an idea.
ooh.
I have an idea here. And look,
Yeah.
Liana, you and I maligned this last week, and Maryanne, it's
Mhm.
a challenge that is near and dear to your heart. Why have we eschewed the journeys of old with the ship wheel of the prisoner's dilemma in lieu of dice rolls? What
Mm-hmm.
if there is an option for you to vote either Jeff Probst or vote no vote? And so whatever gets the
Mm.
majority of votes, right? So you could theoretically be like, all right, everyone, we all agree we're gonna vote no vote tonight, and we're all gonna go back 5 strong. What's interesting is like you could get people to take advantage of that, right?
Oh,
Like you could have people split away and vote no vote or vote out Jeff, and you're like, oh, actually, I'm gonna go over the top here and force a minority split and be able to get out who I want to.
yeah, it would just never work. because I thought about that. No. I thought about that because I thought, what if all 6 people play their shot in the dark? That's the same question, right? Where I'm like, what if all 6 people play the shot in the dark? There's no votes. And I thought about it. I'm like, that would actually never happen because it's prisoner's dilemma. And prisoner's dilemma, unless you all trust each other completely and there's not $1 million on the line, someone's always gonna go rogue. Like someone's always gonna go rogue. Like it's just so. Even though it's a nice thing, and I wish we could have voted. I love Jeff, but I wish we could have voted Jeff off. You know, because Jeff's had like what 48 seasons. These guys have only had like 7 days. 8 days. It just wouldn't work. Even if there was a mechanic, Jeff could put the mechanic in, and no one would. It would. I don't think it would. It would very rarely work. It would maybe once, but most of the time, no.
I like the idea of Jeff being a returning player that's been back for 48 seasons.
I know,
like it's like
to vote him out.
He's had his time.
Cast photo. He has a new cast photo every single time the cast is released.
Yeah, I feel like
pretty much a contestant.
I feel like one day we'll need to do a buffer snuff, Liana, of all the Jeff photos because they're all kind of looking the same in the new era, but there's a lot of looks that he's turned over the past 48 seasons.
But okay, but I want to go back to Maryanne, which, by the way, Maryanne, I 100% agree with you that the prisoners, I mean, it's never one person, come on, is going to vote. But like, what would happen if everybody did play their shot in the dark? Like, do we know what the rule is? Would they just nullify? I guess it's like whomever is safe, if any of them hit safe, that counts. But then if they're not safe, they revote and do the same.
Yeah, I think it's like you get your votes back. Don't do it again.
No, I think it's rocks.
Oh yeah,
I think it's rocks. Like that's just what it feels like. If everyone plays your shot in the dark, you revote, it's still a tie. What? You revote again, it's deadlocked. No one has the right to be a part of to decide, and then it's rocks. But then if it's a tie, then but then because no one is eligible because everyone was on the table, the only person that's not eligible is the one person with the safe. Yeah, and then you pull rock. And the rocks goes home.
Right. That's what I think it would be. Amongst all the people who got not safe, they would pull rocks because basically it would be because like Mary didn't pull a rock last week, right? Like she was marked safe for the entirety of elimination in getting the safe scroll. So that's what I imagine would be the case. So do you think they would do the verbal discussion like they've had in the past, or would they just say, nope, you're all drawing rocks right now. You sacrifice your vote, this is what you get.
No, I think it's going to be immediate. I think this is how it would. This is how it would go. So everyone does a shot in the dark. Jeff's like, I'll go count the votes, and then after it'll be an ad break. He comes back to count the votes, and he's like, "There are no." Then he's no.
Shakes it out.
He comes back and he's like, "Would anyone like to play their advantage?" That it's shot. Then Jeff's like, "Wow, this is the first time no one's had a vote." Typically, if there's a tie, we go and do a revote, but no one can vote. So we are all deadlocked. So here's what's going to happen. Because we're all deadlocked, Judy, you had the safe. You are safe for this tribal, but the rest of you are not safe. And because no one is eligible to vote for rocks, you're all eligible except for Judy. So I'm going to get my bags. We're going to go to rocks and see what happens. And then he'll be like, but he's going to get his rocks. But before he does rocks, he's going to be like, Tracy, what were you thinking? Did you think about going and changing a vote? Why were you so sure about this? Blah, 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 blah. Then he goes, they all pick the rock. Then after, Trucy's safe or whatever I said her name was, they pull, then it's a rock thing.
Trucy Judy herself.
Judy. Classic Tracy.
That's exactly how it would play out. But there would for sure be an ad break somewhere in there. Maybe even 2.
Imagine. Oh my God, they could really drag it. They could full on bachelor this by being like, I'll go get the votes. I'll go get the rocks. Another commercial break.
Yes.
Good. I'm glad you included that in the whole description of what would happen is where the ad break and all of the players who are playing in whatever this fictional season is. But
you'd also get a video of Tribal of Jeff being like, "You want to do a wild tribal like this? Well, apply for Survivor." I've lost my. That's more Russell than Jeff,
I think he would do like a live ad read. Like I think he would actually turn to camera while all the people are sitting there and be like, "Look at what these people are doing. If you want to try pulling off big moves like this, apply to be on Survivor."
Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, still somebody goes home, right? Yeah. That's ultimately what would happen. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, I suppose. But I mean, look, honestly, I feel like Kyle and Camilla deserve an Oscar for this episode.
Nazi.
I think both of them just played this so well. And, we hear a lot from Shaheen about how, oh, obviously they're not together, blah, blah, blah. So clearly, like, it's working. We're not just seeing it play out. We're also seeing confessionals about how, they're doing such a great job. And then they utilize their weaponry so well. It just, it was truly a masterclass. And to have that happen in episode, 4
Yeah.
in the pre-merge is just wild to me.
And I feel like, it's always a very tricky line in terms of the role advantages play in a vote. But obviously, I think there was a bit to grumble and grouse about last time in terms of like, well, this was only forced because Justin was forced to play and lose his vote, et cetera, et cetera. This I think more so fell on the other side of that fine line of like, okay, yes, we did get 2 advantages used in one tribal council and somebody voted out with 1. But at the same time, there was social strategy that had to be implemented and decisions and choices, which you say is always the crux of every single good twist in order for them to do so. And I don't know if the 2 of them had agreed to do this beforehand, or if this is like when you step off the back wall in an improv scene and someone else steps off alongside you and you kind of just look at each other and you're like, okay, you start with something and I'll just follow you on this. Because it's ironically enough, it's not yes and, right? Because they're trying to play themselves up as antagonists for each other. But from the second that Camilla was like, yup, I'm on the bottom, I only had one conversation, and Kyle's like, wait, who is the person that you talked to? Like, it's
No, you're not. Fell into it. You're not on the bottom. Come on now.
No, that's wonderful strategy, which I think that people didn't really think of ahead. I'm just like, if you're at a swap and you're at every time people are at a swap, then they're like, oh, Star's at the bottom of our alliance. Oh, we don't like Charity. That's basically me on the other tribe being like, so I want to work with Charity. So this is who I want to work with. So I'm like, why doesn't anyone ever say, oh, I'm on the bottom, no one wants to work with me, when they actually have the strong like people leading into them, because then it keeps you safe and then it keeps your allies safe and they work with you, and then you go to merge, join back with the allies that you said you didn't have. I thought it was wonderful, and I thought it was even well done that Kyle wasn't like, wait, why, maybe I'm gonna say I'm on the bottom. Kyle was like, I'm good, I'm gonna go with you, well, let's put you on the bottom, girl, let's make it seem that like I hate you and that we don't have a conversation. Like I thought it was just so well done, and like the way he picked up so quickly was amazing. Like no one was on the bottom on our tribe. Like what?
Yeah, who was the one person? Let me guess, was it Charity?
Yeah,
I heard nothing of this, by the way.
Well, and it was interesting because it was also, Camilla was a little bit testing the waters in terms of like, maybe we can save the idol if y'all are willing to turn on Thomas, because Thomas lied to you. But then obviously very clearly that was not going to work, that the California girls were going to stick together. So then it was, okay, all hands on deck. We have to know who they're going to play the idol on, because even though they had the failsafe of the extra vote, I think that was sort of the crux of or at least that would have been sort of the initial plan of just, if we can just nullify the votes, okay, that's great. Although they did, as we saw, have the benefit of that extra vote, which would have essentially guaranteed that Thomas was going to go home. So I guess it maybe didn't really matter, but it was nice I'm sure, from them to just be able to read the situation, to know who they were going to play the idol on.
Yeah, we're talking to somebody, right, who like didn't necessarily need the extra vote when their big move, given the fact that they had a lot of people on their side, but like was nice to have that security and finagle those numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I never ding a player when they make sure that the plan is going to work by burning extra things. I thought it was smart because, like, let's say that the California girls really ran loops around them. I wouldn't want to then be like, oh, it was a 50-50 shot when I had the chance to make it work out, So I like the extra vote play, and especially it's a public extra vote. You want to burn that thing as fast as you can, and that's exactly what Camilla did, and she did it for the cause. So now it's like, oh, I used my extra vote and I got out one of the what is it, the purple tribe name?
Loggy.
I got one of the Loggies. You see, I'm a real one. Like, come to me. No one's gonna. So she did exactly what she said she was going to do. Now all of her tribe mates are like, yes, she is trustworthy. Yes, she does what she does. And now they can't be like, Camilla has an extra vote, let's vote her out at merge, because she doesn't anymore. I thought it was wonderful. Like, I believe if you have a public anything, you burn that thing as fast as you can.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, when Siva, because she, because of Mitch kind of being able to set this precedent, she spilled to everybody basically what happened. Like, now she can also get to the merge, and if they're like, oh my god, you used up this advantage we could have used, she's like, you don't understand the situation that we were in. And I think that's also what they were able to benefit from as well, was that it was so clearly not only a 3-2, but maybe the tightest alliance in the game versus Kyle and Camilla. The outsider assumption would be, okay, they're going to throw each other under the bus, because if they didn't have anything, they would see that it's fruitless. They would try to swing somebody over if they're not taking that tactic. So they're just going to hope that, the other one goes out, and then they're able to rectify some of their mistakes, or I don't know, get an exorcist to drive away that ghost from Vula Beach and be able to make it one more vote to the merge. And they were able to take advantage of a lot of those expectations, and it's so fun to watch as well, especially in retrospect, because I wouldn't call it like heisty, but like when the plan succeeds, it's very fun to watch those oh shit moments, like when Shaheen is going through Kyle's bag and for some reason just decides to braille it out and just say, I don't need to look at anything, I'll just touch it. Nothing feels idly to me. I'll quite literally leave it idle.
So lucky. It was the shoe or something, right? Like he had it, Kyle had it hidden in his shoe, and they didn't end up searching the shoe. So that worked out so well. I'm so curious to see all the reactions and essentially what the ramifications of this are. Because
you see, so Shaheen, he's like, if only I had looked in the shoe.
Not the shoe.
I mean, he looked
ridiculous,
devastated. And I think Joe did too, to a certain extent, but like, God, the viscera, the thrill of victory versus the agony of defeat happening in two different pictures at Tribal Council. That is Survivor in a nutshell, is encompassing all of these emotions into one, that like some people will celebrate that they made their way through an incredibly tricky, tight situation, while others celebrate or have to mourn their devastation as like Thomas is putting one hand on Shaheen's leg and one hand on Joe's shoulder, like as if he's bracing for the news that it's terminal, And that's like, all right, this is the diagnosis. It's inoperable at this point. And it was just, it was amazing to witness. As sad as it was, obviously devastated, absolutely adored Thomas as a character. And it sucks to lose him here. It would have sucked to lose everybody. And it led to just this beautiful heightened moment of emotion for these three guys that thought they had the game on lock from day one.
No, the look, I'm like, that was like pure devastation of everyone. No one could like they were all, Shaheen was like, I don't even know what to say. Joe was like, I don't even know what to say. And then the way that Thomas broke the ice, give me a hug. Come on. I'm like, where's my hug? That's the only way you can do it. Like, it's like you just got blindsided. Thomas can't even be like, when you get blindsided, it's like you can't even be mad at the people who blindsided you when you were voting. Like, it was just such a wonderful way to end. And I know it just was so heartbreaking, because it wasn't like, oh, I lost someone from my tribe. It was like, I lost a core member of my alliance that we were going to run this game to the end.
Well, not only that, he can't be that upset, considering that he eulogized himself second-handedly at the Tribal Council, right? Of like, if I were Kyle and Camilla, I just look back on this experience and be grateful. I've learned so much about myself that, hey, if I were to go out due to a waterfall of advantages in the moment, I'd be fine. I would stand up and make sort of a rushed request for a hug in the midst of the disappointment around me, because I would be good with it. It's not gonna be me, by the way, unless anything freaky deaky happens, but I want them to feel this.
So Thomas's hot take to you, Mike, was that advantage getting isn't a bad thing.
All of these hot takes keep on coming back. It really is Ghost Island.
Yeah,
shot in the dark sucks. Advantage getting isn't a bad thing. It truly, this is Ghost Island.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it really is. Yeah, between Mary's and Thomas's, it's been hilarious to see these come back so quickly and either be a pro or a con potentially for one of these players.
Oh no, well I hope Chrissy's super fans make the game worse take doesn't come to bite her in the butt soon.
Uh-oh.
Well, speaking oh, go ahead, Liana.
No, well, I just had a question for Maryanne. Maryanne, if you were out there and you saw that the reward was fruit, what would your reaction be to that?
She was talking to Connor when I watched that reward. And I looked at Connor, my husband, for people who don't know, and I was like, Connor, that reward sucks.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Are you kidding me? Fruit?
Fruit? Fucking fruit?
No, so stupid. I was like, all that fighting and I get fruit. I'm like, the only time I would want fruit is when it's final day 26, and I get it in my Survivor breakfast. Any other time with fruit, it's like it's not giving me complex carbs. It's not giving me food. It's not giving me energy. It's gonna last 3 to 5 days in the heat, so I have to eat all of this fruit at once. It's full mostly of water, so there's very little like caloric value in it. It's like it tastes good. Like I know, like not even pastries. Like if you want to give a mid-gift reward, give me pastries, not fruit.
I am a little
Thank you.
surprised that we didn't go back to the chicken well or the chicken coop. You know, we had the chicken. Because also, here's the thing. They sort of have a surplus of chickens, considering that, what was her name? Gata, I think, gave the chickens back. Remember? Because they're like,
Yes,
we don't want to kill any. You kind of have 3 chickens lying around. Why don't you just give them out as a reward? Because that's also then leading to the fun storyline, right? Of like, who's going to kill the chicken? Who's going to pull a high and like, eat chicken immorally against their own, circumstances pre-season. So I think that would have been a good substitute, because otherwise, like, yeah, fruit's fine. And look, I guess you could take any sort of creature comforts out there. I mean, I think this would have quite literally fed, speaking of Survivor 47, Sam's storyline for like the entire rest of the 26.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw your post about that. Yeah, that's so
like
funny.
even if he had to go to tribal council, like, we wouldn't have gotten anything. He would have just hunkered down at the shelter and gone fruit by fruit. Like, sort of like when you go to the ice cream parlor and you get little scoops of each. He's like, okay, can I have some of the watermelon? Yeah. And it's like, all right, well, I guess we can count on Sam for his vote. I'm not entirely sure. He's become obsessed with dragon fruit. And so
as he should.
I suppose we can count on him.
Oh man. One other thought that I had, I don't know if you guys noticed this. Speaking of Jeff and asking you to apply to Survivor, it was before he asked, he threw the beanbag through, as part of the challenge. He was like, never a doubt. And I don't know why, but that really made me laugh, and I wanted to bring it up. It's like, hell yeah, Jeff, never a doubt.
I will say I have a little bit of personal intel because I did do this challenge. This was I did this and the blindfold challenge when I was out there on set. And I am incredibly impressed that Jeff was able to get it in one, because I got it in about 100. It took me about like 15 minutes to get the bag, because like when they bring us Jamokes out, they're like, okay guys, you're gonna land the sandbags, and Dalton Ross like clears it in an instant. We have also, if you talk about like the opportunity to vote Jeff out, like Jeff sometimes crouched right next to the barrels to be like, come on, hit me in my face, to use that as initiative. But I could not land this. I was like David in that challenge. And then what happened was, Jeff brought, there was the son of the director, Dave Dryden, was visiting the set, and he brought him over. He's like, I'm giving you some inspiration. And would you believe it? As soon as he brought him over, landed it on the first try.
Wow.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
But then, you know what? Then we crushed that freaking puzzle and came in second. So that's, was able to make up for it at the end of the day. But yeah, I was very impressed with Jeff, and that he was indeed able to land it in one. And I don't know, maybe there were many times where he actually did not land it in one. And he's like, it's like when you do those, I don't know if you ever watch those like long Rube Goldberg machine, like one take things, or like my son watches a lot of domino videos, and it's like, obviously you cut out all the mistakes. So it's like, or you know what it is actually? Now I realize Jeff is one of those perfect shot YouTube guys, the trick shot guys.
Bing,
like
bing, bing, bing.
this. It might have been in doubt, is all I'm saying. It might have been in doubt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like take 52. Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Do you think, Maryanne, should Jeff do more? Should he have done the one where you got spun up and you tried to unspin yourself to undizzy yourself with like, he should have done that as an advertisement to apply to be on Survivor?
I was so I think, you see, I can't even speak on that because I just was so like, it's like, you know how like there's a distribution bell curve? I was first percentile on the spinning, like, and I'm just so thankful that, because you draw rocks for your position, and I'm thankful that I was on the end, because I quite literally would have interfered with other people, because a cameraman had to like dodge me. I almost like crashed into a camera. No, I was bad. I was so bad. So I'm not sure how Jeff's balance is, or especially like when he spins around. So like I think that would be fun. I think it would be more cooler if he does but that's not like a trick shot, you know? He needs to do the trick shot stuff, like when you're in the ocean and you do the basketball. If he just went like whoosh, never a doubt, like that would be nice, you know?
Okay, yeah, hopefully we'll see that in the future. Although I would be pro Jeff spinning, even though I do understand your point. I just kind of want to see that from a personal perspective.
Yeah, I hope he's a better spinner than me.
Well, I was going to say, actually, speaking of coordination, I'm surprised we didn't talk about this. Did y'all see somebody catch, like, Jeff maybe falling down in the first challenge?
Oh,
yes, he ate it.
Yeah. Right down. It was beautiful. It was like, and now that's all I'm looking for during the challenges. I'm like watching the background. Like there was one moment Jeff was like running in the background in this challenge, and I was like, fall down.
Fall, yeah,
fall.
Oh yeah,
fall, yeah, fall. There we go.
Never a doubt.
Well, we'll see, Liana, if our predictions are in doubt. They often are. Let's be completely honest, and especially for Thomas, because look, Thomas was a very fun chat, a very fun personality. I think a lot of people, especially by episode 4, were like, this guy has the capacity. He's sneaky AF. He's that villain that we're looking to see in the new era. And unfortunately, that time got cut short, much like his facial hair. So, Liana, looking back a couple months ago, how did you think Thomas was going to do? Was his outcome more of an upbeat tune or a ballad?
Okay, yes, music reference. I get it. Okay, so Thomas, I did have pre-jury, although he's my mergatory boot, so kind of on that cusp. So I said that in the early days of Logi, Thomas has a pretty easy run due to their challenge strength and his social strength, forming bonds with most people, but especially Bianca. After the mergatory swappies twist thing, he thinks this will be an easy run as he swaps with his fellow Loggies, Eva, Joe, and Shaheen. However, Shaheen sells Thomas down the river to their other tribe mates, wanting to weaken the perception of Logi going into the merge. We will get a fun segment where Thomas lies about his job, and then we get to see his fun, but not too fun, sneaky side. His ally was Bianca, and his enemy was Shaheen.
Okay, so just to speak to this narrative that you're going to illuminate over the next 8 weeks or so. So you was this sort of like the thing that we typically do at the final 12, which is like divide into 2 groups and each person votes someone out?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a split into 6, and then they're the ones that go. So it's like an earn the merge thing, I guess. And so they went, and then essentially there were 4 Loggies. So, like obviously the Loggies are going to stick together, but no. Shaheen has bigger plans and ends up selling out Thomas. Eva, Joe, and Shaheen to me we're all a close alliance. So yes, Thomas ends up going home in this position. So very sad, but that's what I had.
All right. Well, I think you've got this one. Never in doubt. But I'm going to try to land my sandbag here, at least a little bit on the rim. Hopefully got a bit of a rim job here. So Thomas, I had making the jury. I wrote with Logi humming along in the pre-merge. I think, Liana, you and I were both on the money there. Thomas's edit is the quiet gift king. He'll get 1 or 2 confessionals per episode, but he makes the most of his little screen time, creating the most viral lines of the season. Think of him as Survivor 48's backing track. Thomas makes the most of his Logi downtime, finding his tribe's idol. True to his preseason word, he chooses not to tell anyone about his acquisition. Thomas locks in almost instantly with Bianca, especially given the fact that they're the people with the most non-athletic backgrounds. However, his love of football does have him forming a surprising connection with Joe. When the merge hits, the rest of the tribe immediately clocks Thomas as one of the ones to beat, given how social he is, and so everyone chooses to handicap him by taking a shot at his number 1, Bianca. Luckily, hearing Thomas is being targeted is music to his ears. He's able to parlay being cornered into an opportunity, successfully saving himself with his idol the next round to boot his longtime frenemy, Star. Feeling isolated, Shaheen decides to pick Thomas up and turn him from the odd man out into the odd couple. And so they'll work together for a few votes. But much like it took an advantage to keep Thomas in the game, It takes a couple to take him out.
Oh.
Late into the game, the Siva minority is able to launch an assault on the rest of the tribe. Using a well-timed idle play and a vote steal, they're able to upend the tribe, their sights firmly set on the mustachioed man, who is sporting quite the matching beard at this point. To quote Captain Barbosa, "You best start believing in advantage getting, Mr. Crottinger. You're in one." His closest ally was Bianca, then Shaheen, and his enemy was Journeys.
Not the Pirates of the Caribbean reference for some reason. Like, I get the music puns, but I don't understand his connection with Pirates of the Caribbean. Was that like a thing? Did you guys talk about that? Was he like,
Nope.
I love Jack Sparrow?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
and if he did, honestly, I'd be a little judgmental.
Okay, fair enough. That's so wild. You had like some things that were so specifically spot on and then broadly so wrong. It's amazing. It's so impressive, Mike.
Thank you. It's a truly a once in a lifetime art. Well, Maryanne, you will be the adjudicator of said art here. Who do you think was more on the ball when it came to Thomas?
Oh my goodness. You see, you got pretty much the way he got out. So on the ball, Mike. But Liana, the way that you just like really got the allies and just like how it was like the merge and how it was like just like a kind of like a snipe surprise, I felt was really close. You see, the thing I'm struggling with is you said it, Liana. Mike is just so perfectly on the nose on some, but I'm like, is his so far off once enough to make him lose the points when you were like more consistent? Oh wow.
Do you want the roller coaster ride or do you want the kiddie train at the amusement park?
The kiddie train?
That's more of a consistent smooth going around the track.
Okay. Regardless of what you said, Mike, I think I'm gonna have to give it to you. And just because it's because it's the specific it was the specific Siva idol and a third thing, and then the journeys being the thing that was his down. Like that's just too on the nose for me to close my eyes to. You know, I don't know how long were you on that island, Mike. I'm a little suspicious.
Enough time to suss out how much Thomas loves Pirates of the Caribbean.
Obviously, yeah.
Now I have to look through the rest of it to be like, was I just really on a kick here? It's like much like Captain Jack Sparrow was stranded on the island of Tortuga, so was Shaheen stranded strategically when he lost his closest ally, Thomas.
Yeah, I'm excited for more Pirates of the Caribbean references, obviously. Thank you, Mike.
All right, well, let's see if we can parlay that into our next game here. Because look, we're mixing these people up, right? New configurations, new relationships, new rivalries, perhaps. And so I think it's time that we turn to one of the most aesthetically unique games we do here on the B&B. It's time to get a face morphin. Everybody drop your face. Should I name that the cave? Drop your face?
I think so. I mean, as weird as that is, it's perfect. Drop your face. We're switching faces.
Yeah, I'm gonna face off is actually the first survivor swap. So all right, so you know what? I'm gonna put these pictures that we're about to talk about on a site, bit.ly/dropyourface48. We'll
go
fully commit to the bit here. Though that was the name of last episode. So here's how this is going to work. The lovely Sean, not the guy that was voted out at the previous tribe swap that we had in the new era, has done the great honor of taking a bunch of these survivor players and shuffling up their facial features. So how this is going to work is that I am going to display a picture of a survivor that will have their body and 2 facial features from 2 other survivor contestants. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have both of you, for each one, write down who you think the other 2 people are. Because let's face it, the first one's going to be a given. You will get, and you'll get points depending on how many you get. If you get both of the other people, you'll get 1 point, or 2 points. If you get only one, you get 1 point. If you get none, you get none. All castaways are up for grabs here, so you can choose between all 18. I believe there might be repeats as well. And what I will do, as I usually do before I get into this, is that to the lovely, lovely people of Survivor 48, I deeply apologize for what you are about to witness. Because, listen, there's certainly been a lot of talk from Star in particular about how this might be the finest looking cast they've gotten out here. This very much is the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
So, again, I will show a picture of this jumbled up castaway. And you have to write down, it will usually be facial features. So you have to write down the two people who are being mixed in with this person. So, with that being said, let the Uncanny Valley begin with, and we can now share images on StreamYard, which I think should help with you too, because you'll be able to magnify on more of the features. Here is our first castaway.
Yeah.
And this is the most aesthetically pleasing one, by the way.
Oh no.
So again,
okay.
this is very clearly Shaheen's body. I will give that
Right.
as a given. You
Right.
two have to figure out who are the other two people who are represented in the facial area.
Okay, I need to figure out which bit is Shaheen's face first.
That's
Can't
also
decide
valid.
if I think it's the nose or the mouth. So like that's where we're starting for context.
So it could be
mhm.
anything on the face as well. You know, it's not always going to be, it'll be so-and-so's nose and so-and-so's ears. So it might be different levels of two people mixed together right now.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Cause like, okay. All right, okay.
Maryanne, do you want to describe like what this person looks like to those that are just listening along and
Yeah.
saving their eyes the trauma?
Yeah. So it looks like Shaheen, but it's very clear that his head ratio, it's just a little too large. There's it makes it a little uncanny valley, just slightly too large.
Yeah, it's like you're playing the Survivor 48 video game and you turned on big head mode, like slightly in the character creator.
I feel uncomfortable. I don't feel safe.
All right, so enough hemming and hawing here. Let's put some pen to paper. Liana, who do you think are the other two involved in this?
Oh boy. Okay. So I think this is Joe's hair. So I'm getting so I put Joe and then I put question mark and then I was like, don't just write question mark. You should write a name down because it's a freebie. So then I wrote down Chrissy.
Okay, so you wrote Joe and Chrissy. Maryanne, what did you write down?
Like I looked and my mind was like, Joe? So I feel Joe. It just feels very Joe, like the hair and the face as well too. And then, but I looked at the eyes, and the eyes look like a woman's. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with a woman. Like my family does like a draft, and the only woman I had Mary, Star, and Stephanie. So I went with Stephanie because she was out first. So maybe she'll be good for something, respectfully. Like, no, that sounded really mean. I don't mean it in a mean way.
You're a $1 million winner. You can shit talk the first boots if you want.
They're good for something.
I said it and it sounded really. It's because I couldn't win money because she didn't win, but she's wonderful at different things. I'm so sorry, Stephanie. I did not mean as it sounded really bad, and I did not mean it that way.
Yeah,
this is the heel turn. Maryanne, so nice on her season, so kind, so sweet, so genuine.
Money corrupts.
No,
secretly evil.
I'm not John Cena.
For what it's worth, Maryanne, listen, Stephanie, I guess, owed a lot to you, not only in the form of giving her acknowledgement, but in turn, she gave you the win here. It is indeed, it's Joe's, like, basically his entire head, except for the eyes, which are Miss Stephanie Berger's.
Wow.
Okay, you nailed it, Maryanne.
It's gonna go downhill from here. I can tell you, but I will hold on to this win.
All right. So, right off the bat, Maryanne batting a perfect average so far. But let's see if number 2 is going to break that possibly, or it might break.
I would be shocked if I keep it.
Maybe
terrified.
Well, let's see what the new apple of our eye is going to be.
Oh my god.
No. All right, so it's Justin's body with Justin's hair and a completely new face. Justin really said, drop your pizza face because I'm picking up a brand new one.
I mean, we're talking about the the ratios of it all. It seems like this person maybe got like their face punched in when they were a child, and it sort of is kind of concaving in on itself, because this is like not a 4-head or a 5-head. This is like a several head that he's got going on in this picture.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God. I'm just okay. I think I've got one. I'm just trying to figure out who I think that the other one is. I have no idea. We don't get a point for Justin, do we?
No, Justin's a gimme. Justin's a freebie. He's the free space on the bingo card.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say don't stare at it too much. You need to kind of look away from the screen every 5 seconds or so.
I know. I just
Your
think I
retinas
need,
will
I
burn
need,
out.
I need a little bit of a break. All right. Okay. I think I have my answer.
All right, Liana, what do you got?
Okay, I had the same reaction. I think I see Camilla. Then I wrote question mark, and then I said Chrissy.
Okay, going with Chrissy once again.
It's gotta be Chrissy. She's gotta be somewhere in here. She's gonna be my default answer.
That's what the people are saying too about the confessional charts. Chrissy's gotta be there somewhere. Maryanne, what did you say for this?
Someone's not getting points because I said Mary, and then I thought it was someone's eyebrows, and because I see a notch, and I'm like, who would have a notch in their eyebrow? And I had no clue, and I just guessed Charity.
Okay, so we're going very Siva strong right now. Maryanne, you said that somebody's getting no points.
It's
and
me.
You are incorrect. You're each getting 1 point because it was Justin's body yaddy yaddy. It is Camilla's eyes.
Oh.
And it is Mary's mouth and nose.
Oh. All right. Still gonna answer Chrissy. She's got to be there somewhere.
You know what the definition of insanity is? Just saying Chrissy over and over again.
No, but no, you put into the universe, so now you have to keep on saying Chrissy, or the time you woke it would be her, and that's rough. I'm so sorry. You locked yourself in. You quantum locked yourself.
I know. I pulled a Thomas. I locked myself into a situation. I can't reveal my my extra vote. Okay.
All right.
Great. Well, interesting. Maryanne's still leading. So Maryanne, you thought you would drop.
Only by 1 though, and this might be something to tie it up, Liana, or even take the lead. Here's that possibility.
Is it Chrissy?
Oh my gosh.
Sean, thank you eternally, time after time, for making these.
Beautiful. Okay, so obviously, Star.
Yep.
That was the one I was so ready for with the nose piercing. I was like, I know Star has a nose piercing, and I'm really hoping that Star's nose shows up. Not in this capacity, because that's the one I don't get points for. So I'm devastated for that.
Nope. That is the free space, is Star. And, hopefully, much like Stars, we don't see this face during the day or at night, and they just hide away at all times, because this is a rather rough-looking individual. Not Star, whoever this is.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the key. This is not any of the castaways, right? Like, I
think if anything, this is just proving that, like, a lot of these players are in very happy, loving situations, and they should stay that way, because truly, if they intend to crossbreed, it ain't gonna be looking good.
Yeah, no incest from this cast. I forbid it.
I don't think that would be a problem unless it's blood versus water.
Oh my god!
Well, I don't know.
These
I just
photos
get a blood disorder. Okay, I have, so again, this is the same situation where I feel like I recognize one and I don't know what the other one is. So unfortunately,
let's keep doing this. Yeah, what do you have?
I did write down Chrissy as one of my options just because it's Maryanne said it best. I'm locked in. So I said Cedric and Chrissy because I think it's Cedric's mouth.
Okay, Maryanne,
Interesting.
what'd you say?
I also thought the mouth was from the Green Tribe, but not Cedric.
You
I
got
thought
that.
it was
You got that
Zay's
green
mouth.
tribe mouth.
I thought it was
Green
Zay's
Tribe.
mouth.
Classic.
And then I saw the eyebrows, and I'm like, the eyebrows feel like it's someone who has a thick eyebrows. And so I went with Shaheen, even though we saw him but already.
Okay. We are all tied up, ladies.
Oh, I was so bad.
So
Shaheen was a good guess though for the eyebrows.
This individual has Star's body,
Yeah.
the mouth of the one, the only Chrissy Sarnowski, finally making her appearance.
Oh, wait, really? Yeah.
And
Oh, thank God.
these are the eyes of Kyle.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. I would not have guessed Kyle, so I don't feel bad.
Damn. Okay. Sorry. Apologies to either Chrissy or Cedric, maybe just in case.
Eyes, one of the many
Chrissy's
holes.
strategy worked. Now I'm
Now you're
free. To do
free.
whatever
Now
I
you're
want
free
now.
to guess whatever you want to, Liana, and you're gonna need it for this next looker coming to the stage.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I got one for sure. We got one for sure.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's so I feel good.
Yeah, so essentially you both will get a point here.
Yeah.
I think we realize that it is Thomas and it is Bianca. So the question is, who is the third person involved in this this duo turned into a trio?
Oh my gosh.
I also will say with the Thomas mustache and the long Bianca hair, it kind of looks like this person plays like smooth jazz outside of a Greek restaurant, you know, just like rocking the sort of man bun look, but with the facial hair to him.
No, it makes Bianca look like an Italian man.
That's true.
Like it
Bianco.
Yeah, a little Luigi. Yeah, little Mario, little Luigi. Yeah, I can see that. The eyes are an interesting proportion to the
That's
rest
what
of the
I was
face
thinking.
as well. Okay, I'm not okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm like Maryanne. I got one for sure. The other one is a big question mark to me. So YOLO.
All right. Well, you're not going to play once. You still got a few more questions here. But Liana, for this one, for this mustachioed individual, give me your hairy guess.
Okay, so I said Thomas and Eva.
Thomas and Eva. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
I think you
pulled ahead. I said Thomas and Charity.
Okay. You are both incorrect. It is Thomas, and whether these are the game eyes or the people eyes, these are Say's eyes.
Okay. Okay, but it was Thomas though, yeah.
No,
yes,
it was very clearly Thomas.
Okay, look, I'm just saying, and maybe someone grew a mustache real quick.
But yeah, there's something about like the slope. Like I feel like you could do y = mx plus b of like that brow line. It just feels like it's not exactly on a 180 degree scale.
No, I like the Mario Luigi comparison. For me, I think that's the best way to describe that particular individual.
Okay, well, let's get into.
Oh, this one's gonna be bad. This one's gonna be so bad.
I feel like I should close my eyes and.
Oh my gosh!
Let's get into this next one.
Oh my gosh! Okay, we got at least one.
Okay.
This is so bad.
It looks like if when Bugs Bunny tries to trick his nemesis and pretend to be like a psychiatrist, this is what he would like to dress up as, with like a fake beard and the glasses with the eye.
Yeah, okay, so this is Cedric. And Cedric kept his glasses but got white people eyes.
Yes. That's what I was saying. I was like, okay, at least I can cross off like 50% of the people here. Just like
Thanks, CBS. Yeah, I crossed off half the cast. That's like that's what when Say looks at me with her white people eyes. Our relationship changes.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well,
It's like they're sticking out like a snail. Like the proportion is so much smaller.
I like, yeah, his whole face shape, I think, is to me like obviously I'm looking at the individual elements of his face, but I think I really need to take a step back and sort of evaluate the the head
Yeah,
as a
you
whole.
just take a step back,
because-
blur my eyes.
yeah. Can I get my eyes dilated real quick so I can look at this thing?
This actually looks like this person had the exact opposite happen. They cut the drops of their pupils constricted to the point that now they're barely visible.
Yeah. All right. I've got
All right,
a
Larry.
few.
All right, Liana, what do you got?
Well, I'm now that I hit on Chrissy, I'm gonna stick with the Eva train, and then I said Shaheen obviously is this character has a giant beard.
Okay, Shaheen and Eva. What do you say, Maryanne?
I did the exact same thing. I was like, it's obviously Shaheen's beard, and I'm like, whose eyes would that be? And I'm like, someone who's smiling in the cast photo. And I remember Eva smiling, and Eva's white. So then I went with Eva.
Boom.
And these eyes are white, and you are both right. It is Shaheen and Eva.
Let's go.
So now all of your fallback answers have been accounted for. So now we truly are in the Wild West here. And he also kind of looks like one of those like old-timey doctors as well that you would see in some sort of saloon of like, pour some sarsaparilla on that leg. It'll be right as rain.
I got some snake oil for you.
You're unwell? Take some Coke.
All right. Next up here.
Methamphetamines cure your disease.
Dr. Pepper.
If you ever wanted a reminder, speaking of, that drugs might have an effect on people, perhaps this is the best PSA.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's the mouth nose combo
for some
me.
reason. This was even more offensive to Stephanie than when Mary had said earlier.
Yeah.
That was an accident. That's why it was never going to be more offensive.
It feels like an accident.
No, this was a mistake.
Poor Stephanie. Okay, so obviously Stephanie is the overarching human guiding this
the vessel.
the vessel for this human, I suppose. Right. Okay.
This is just, oh boy. For me, it's like the general lack of lip. That's the most intriguing part of this to me. It's giving it's giving a little bit like Fire Marshal Bill from In Living Color.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, a little Jim Carrey-ish. I don't even know what to. Okay, all right. I've got no idea. Okay, all right. Whatever. We're just gonna write.
You're mesmerized at this point. You're drawn in.
Look, I'm in love. Yeah, I can say it. I can say it, right? Who's got no lip? I'm like, I swear, all of these people have lips. I've seen their lips. They all have lips. Or maybe this is the one lipless individual.
All right. Well, Liana, let's see if you're on the lip of taking the lead here. Who are your two guesses?
I said David and Kyle.
David and Kyle.
Because I haven't used them yet. That was my logic.
So literal default. Maryanne, what did you say?
I went with similar, but not who I haven't used, but who hasn't been used. So then I went with Kevin and Charity. And I wrote Charity twice, so third time's a charm.
Unfortunately, it is not. Fortunately, we're splitting the baby once again because it is Stephanie's body, of course, David's eyes and nose, and Kevin's mouth.
Kevin.
I don't think this person can say because again they have no upper lip.
Yeah, wait, hold on. I need to find a. Hold on, I gotta look. It was Kevin who didn't have a lip.
Yep.
Hold on.
Well, I don't know if he didn't have a lip. Maybe it was just the way that this was edited. That like it cut off David's part of the face and Kevin's part of the face.
Okay, I don't know if this is cheating or not.
Kevin doesn't.
No, he has a lip. Kevin's got a lip. He did, just to report, he has a lip. Just so everybody knows.
Thank goodness.
I know.
Listen, Jeff said what the headline of the season was in the body of the article, and that was really the headline here. Is this just in? Kevin does indeed have a lip, and what we have is a tie right now.
Ooh.
We are going into our final picture.
Oh my god. Okay,
Ooh.
Maryanne, I have a proposal. If we
Okay.
both play our shot in the dark,
Yeah,
neither of us go home.
I think yes, if we both play it and it's both not safe. I think that makes us go to fire.
Right, and then Mike goes home. I think that's what
Mike
we
goes home.
decided
Mike
to
goes
do
home.
for
Yeah,
round
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, Mike loses.
Yes.
Well, you could go to fire, but I think for this last one, you would rather say kill it with fire.
Oh no.
Oh no! That's so.
All right.
Nothing's on the nothing aligns on the face. Nothing. It's very clearly Joe's head, but it's all everything is slanted. This is so
it's
bad.
like if you're working in like Procreate or Photoshop and you do like the swirl tool, it feels like someone just started doing that and like barely used it.
What's crazy is like this is a really attractive cast. I stand by.
I know you were about to, Liana. I did not know how you were going to finish that sentence. Like, can I say something?
Look, can I say something? Hear me out. This is my hear me out. No.
Don't put this in my cake. Get this away from my cake.
No, like I think this just speaks to how facial features go together, because these facial features, they just do not go together. This is a monster that has been created, but on such a hot cast. So I'm just brain is struggling to sort of comprehend this.
It's also very fun because it is on Joe's body as well. So it very has this like Frankenstein like look to it.
Right. Yes, exactly. Whose mouth is that? That's what. Oh god.
Yeah, that's funny. I think I know the mouth, but I don't know anything else.
See, that's the thing. We also are dealing in a bit of a situation where it seems like the upper half and the lower half of the face are not really communicating with each other. They are quite literally going in two different directions. Like it's sort of like the equivalent of going cross-eyed or wall-eyed, but with different parts of your face.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you could turn each part of your face to face a different direction. Yeah, you're trying. It's not, you did it when you kind of rolled your eyes a little bit. Oh, it just looks like you're having a stroke. So maybe you should just stop that, Mike.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. It is the final picture for all the marbles. Liana, who is this?
Okay. So I think this is Mitch's eyes. And I copied my favorite Survivor winner of all time and put Charity.
Okay. Mitch and Charity. Maryanne.
I think this is Charity's mouth. And I went with who I haven't written down before, which was Mitch. No! We did it!
Yes! Oh my god! Wait, Sam!
So
you
both you somehow broke the game. You are correct. It is Mitch's eyes and nose and Charity's mouth, and you somehow, in spite of the odds, deadlocked the game.
Mike loses the game. We win the game. You lose the game.
I know. I'm the true winner because I got to look at these. Oh my god! Wow!
Great.
Wow! Oh, congratulations! And I mean that emphatically with every single syllable. That is unprecedented in the history of nearly 10 years of the B&B. So congratulations to you both. Thank you again to Sean for giving yourself so much insomnia for the next few weeks and putting these faces together. They are greatly, greatly appreciated.
Shout out, Sean.
I don't know, Sean. It's like, what's the saying that people have to say? Like, does God stay in heaven because he fears what he created? Like,
the most accurate description of this ever. I love it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, listen, we have maybe done the world a disservice by introducing these pictures unto society, but now is an opportunity for our guests to do some good, perhaps balancing the scales a little bit. As always on the B&B, we throw it to our guests to highlight a charity, not the person or cause, that is important to them. Maryanne, it's all on you. What would you like to say? And
Yay!
have it not, it doesn't need to be about a phrase about a bunny rabbit being in the mailbox. I know you do that just instinctually every time we ask you to speak by yourself.
Thank you. I know. I struggle every moment. You know, I've had to go with my therapist and be like, but, and she's like, you can let go. You're free now.
Endure and let go.
Speaking about a charity, I'm going a little bit cheesy, but I truly believe in everything they do, and that's the Canadian Red Cross. Okay, so Canadian Red Cross, for those who might be American or don't know what they do, basically they are, every time there is an emergency or like some sort of response that needs help, they come in, they give supplies. And sometimes people think of it in the macro scale, but they also help in a micro scale. Like, for example, if your house burns down, you can contact the Canadian Red Cross. They'll help you find a place of accommodation. They'll help you go and give you like some money to go and put you on your feet when you're trying to figure that out. And then it's also the large scale things. You know, if there's a disaster, if they're going and trying to help people with immigration, refugees, they pretty much do everything. They also do blood donations. So everything. They do quite literally everything. They keep Canada together. And so I just genuinely think it's so cool, and they can teach you CPR. I'm telling you, they're the jack of all trades of charities. So for someone who might be indecisive of where your money goes, I think that if you know you have money and you have the privilege to be able to donate, consider the Canadian Red Cross.
Very, very well said. And Maryanne, thank you for donating your time and energy today. We haven't had you back for a while. I think not since 43 or 44, where you really broke a lot of Survivor fans' minds when you talked about how all of your like personal game footage was taken after the fact. And so now that we're sort of past that phase, we're so happy to have brought you back to give your thoughts on this wild swap episode, and will hopefully be part of a wild season to come. What would you like to plug, if anything, to the listeners out there of the B&B?
Oh my gosh, what am I gonna plug? I personally have nothing to plug, but if you haven't watched Severance, you should watch Severance. It's so good. I see Mike has watched Severance, but it genuinely is so good. Like, be a part of the phenomenon. And it's renewed for season 3, so you don't have to fear. And Ben Stiller personally promised all of us it's not going to take 3 years. So, you know, start watching Severance, or maybe wait 2 years and a half.
Yeah, once I actually get like a confirmed date.
Yeah.
I don't know, like you know, if there's one person I might not trust in this world, it's Dwight Goodman. And I'll also plug something on behalf of Maryanne, because the Blood on the Clock Tower Survivor alumni.
Oh my god, so fun.
I believe they just released the third
version
of it, right?
as we record. Yeah, so fun. How did I forget about that? Oh my gosh, this is why I need to take notes. So fun, amazing. The people at Pandemonium Institute are spectacular. Please give it a look. Watch me play Blood on the Clock Tower and then question how I won Survivor, as many do. It is so fun.
Yeah, I think especially if you like this idea that we kind of saw in this tribal council of like everyone having their own power and trying to combine powers to effectively weaponize it against quote unquote bad people, like that is Blood on the Clock Tower. Everyone's assigned a role, and it's all one big logic puzzle, while also a game of deception tied in on top of that.
It's so fun. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. You have to watch all of them.
Well, speaking of 10s across the board, Liana, what's going on in the world of the Drag Race recap this week? And Cal as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Drag Race going strong. We're going to cover this week's episode. It's wild to think that we're down. I mean, like the season just started, it feels like, and now we're already rounding the bend towards the finale. So definitely check that out. Beth Amon and I talking about all things Drag Race, and then Puya and I, of course, Puya and Liana Lounge going strong. We just had our 10th episode, now rounding up to our 11th. So that's absolutely so.
Did you do anything to celebrate the 11th episode?
Well, yes. So we are now putting out what we're calling mini-sodes on our audio-only feed. So these are going to cover whatever topics are interesting to Puya and I at that time. Maryanne, you brought up Severance. Puya and I talked about our thoughts on the finale.
Oh, I don't have to listen.
That is going to be out in the Puya and Liana Lounge feed only. That is the only place that you're going to be able to find these mini-sodes. So just Google Puya Liana Lounge. You find it on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get your podcasts, if you want to hear our thoughts on the Severance 2 finale.
Oh, that is very exciting. So you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. Check out my interview with Thomas. Come on. knowing the personality that Thomas was on this season, it was a great interview. And it was. He is such a fun person to talk with. Was very open about, again, things like why he didn't play his vote steal, his sense as to, sort of being snowed by Kyle and Camilla, his thoughts on what would have happened if Logie had gone to tribal council, which is interesting. Apparently, according to him, everyone on the tribe had figured out Star's idol clue except Star, and they purposely didn't tell her because they're like, we want her to not have a vote so she could be like kind of fish in a barrel right now. So though we'll see on the next time that apparently Star has now told more people about the idol fulfillment. So she has gotten like 2/3 of the cast working on her idol clue at this point. Truly a boss in that regard. But feel free to check that out over on Parade. Check out our amazing race recap, which has been a lot of fun so far. Of course, Australian Survivor. I will give another plug on behalf of Maryanne that you were on the feedback show this past week.
You know what? Okay, in my defense, I had an exam yesterday, okay? And so I am so discombobulated. Apparently, I've been doing the most, but my brain can only remember things that have to do with medicine.
No,
and barely even that.
Well, it's very new era, right? Like you take things one episode at a time. You're taking podcasts one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Feel free to check that out before the next week of Australian Survivor episodes roll in. And also, I did a reality flash last week about the new Hulu series Got to Get Out. We talked about the prisoner's dilemma missing from New Era Survivor. This is the concept that they're going to take a bunch of these people that range from, random newbies to people who have participated on one season of reality TV, but they brand them as rookies for some reason, to Spencer Pratt and Omarosa. And they are in a mansion. And for every second that they stay in the mansion, a certain amount of money is added to this overall pot. But at any point in time, someone can leave the mansion. And when they do, they take everything that has been banked up to that point. And then the rest of the group starts over from zero. However, if you see someone trying to escape, there apparently is a big button that you can push that locks the gates and prevents that person from leaving.
Like Prison Break.
This feels like a show that would be on 30 Rock.
Yes, exactly.
This feels like a 30 Rock show. MILF Manor.
MILF, yeah.
Listen,
coming real.
I was going to say, the ground has been trodden, so let's stomp all over again. So I gave an outline as to what the general concept is, going over who is making up maybe the most WTF cast in reality TV that we have seen so far. And stay tuned next month when the show ends up coming out. There might be some coverage coming your way about that, but plenty more to happen in the meantime, including the B&B for next week, where apparently it's going to be quite the emotional episode if you've watched any of the promotional materials. So we will break down all the emotions contained therein, and I would imagine this is our last pre-merge episode before Mergatory, so I think we can look ahead as well to the individual game. Should be a lot of fun. I think no matter what tribe goes to tribal council here, it's going to be incredibly interesting, whether it's the 2v2 with no vote Bianca in the middle, whether it's technically 2-2-1 with Mary in the middle, but these two pairs can't work together, or whether it's the 2 versus 2 of Vula now. No matter what, I think we are in for a good time. I think Survivor 48 has really gone onto a hot streak in the beginning, and I hope to stay on it alongside you, Liana. Of course, if you have any game ideas or monstrosities you want to unleash into the world like Sean did, please send any and all ideas or atrocities to rhapbnb@gmail.com or use the hashtag rhapbnb on social media. We are receptive to any and all ideas, and we will rifle through them like Shaheen does blindly through Kyle's bag and pick out stuff that we might want to use in the future. Special thanks to the entire team at RHAP behind the scenes for packaging this podcast for your eyes and ears, and Will from America for his fantastic theme song, which, if you're listening to the audio version, is about to play you out. Liana and I will be back next week covering episode 5 of Survivor 48. Until next time, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.